Okay, let me share my screen also. Okay. Welcome to Service Pending Operator Weekly Call. Today, March 31st, 2022, we have a couple of agenda items. First, I would like to welcome John uh, to this meeting. I think he's here joining for the first time. So thanks for this PR. And can you brief about this key clock sample and tell us about this project? I mean, this PR. And
Sure, my pleasure. So, right. Right, there's the issue that asks for a sample, and I created one. We can take a look at the PR itself, maybe. Right. So I created a sample that utilized minimal keycloak deployment with some binding annotations for the issue URL and the secret, a direct secret reference for the client ID and the client secret. Part of that example is actually a complete test realm configuration, which is in the keycloak deployment. If you load the diff for that one.
you want to walk us through something, or okay? Do you want to share screen or maybe explain, or is it okay?
Well, I can share my screen, I guess.
Okay, yeah. Let me stop sharing. Do you have some demo or something prepared, or just PR?
I can show a demo.
Okay.
So let's first do this. Okay. So again, I created a keycloak deployment, which would be this one. It's pretty big because it contains the entire RAM configuration for test realm.
Yeah. Can I ask a quick question here?
Yes.
So is this modifying the existing Spring Pet Clinic application itself, or?
It will. Yes, I would come to that. We can take a look. So there is a patch. So I extended the patch, right? There is a patch that that adds the Spring Cloud configuration, and I extended that to also include the OS2 starter for Spring Boot. And that has a consequence. That's what I described here, I guess, under side effects. Because the patch is always, when you build the image, the patch is always applied. Therefore, all examples that uses that image will require authentication. If the keycloak deployment and binding is present, then it will use the keycloak. If it is not present, then it will do the auto configuration fallback for Spring Security, which is it generates a user and a password at startup.
Okay.
So besides the added dependency, it will also add a very basic web security configuration, which basically just requests authorization for all requests. And it does it via the OS2 login. Which means when the keycloak is deployed and the binding was successful, that the default keycloak login flow, so authorization code flow, will be used. The actual deployment, again, besides the RAM configuration, which I just exported, and then included, there is a secret for the client ID and client secret. And then annotations for the issue URL and the preferred and the username attribute. The Keycloak deployment itself, it's pretty basic. So it's actually based on the Keycloak sample from the quick starts. And it utilizes the in-memory database. So there is no additional database for the Keycloak.
Okay.
Can you show the secret for that is being used by this deployment? Is the same secret that is used for binding?
There's one secret that is so the secret I just showed. Wait, the one that includes the client ID and the client secret, that is the same. That's only used for the binding, actually.
Okay.
There is okay. So the thing is, the secret and the client ID are also referenced directly in the configuration export.
Okay.
The binding itself, I can show that. So that's a reference to the secret, and of course, it also references the deployment with annotations.
Yeah, this looks good thing. The only thing I'm just thinking, since you're modifying the existing samples, I think we are reusing these samples in some of our documentation.
Yes.
So, whether that documentation will be affected or not, that's what I'm just want to confirm.
It will be affected in a way. So you're referencing to this, I guess.
Yeah.
And so to utilize the sample, so this sample also will require authentication if we just include. So if you just merge my PR, this example will also require authentication.
Yeah.
Either with or without Keycloak. So
Right.
It's obviously possible to create another image for the vet clinic application.
Yeah, I think maybe something like we can create another, maybe something Spring Pet Clinic Advanced, or with the authentication, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So we can create
Authenticator
another
or
sample.
something.
Yeah. So let's not disrupt this existing folder. Let's keep it like that, because since it is used from the documentation. So I hope that creating a new directory and keeping all these files. Probably can keep symbolic link. I think that's what it does in the other place also. For the files that you don't want to be copied, you can create a symlink and then keep adding additional files. Right? Symlink should work, right, in Git? Yeah. Or you can copy all file. It's okay. Just few files and keep it in everything in a separate directory. That way would be better.
Okay, so yeah, sure. I can create an additional directory that includes all the files. I will need to create a new deployment for the pet clinic application, though, right? Because there is no point in symlinking that, because it will use a different image.
Oh, you need to publish a new image, right? Okay.
Well, someone needs to. I
Oh,
can't.
someone needs to. Okay. Uh,
Also,
Can
by
we
the way,
parameterize
I
it?
yes.
Can we parameterize it? I mean, let's not duplicate too much. Can we create like a little Helm chart or something like that that will let
no,
you switch between images and between advanced authentication or not?
you mean the application image? No, that application image, I mean the Docker image, right? That we need to push into some k.io. That's going to be.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about creating a separate deployment just because of the image, right? That doesn't sound good to me. That sounds like a very duplicate, more maintenance type of thing, right?
Oh,
So I would say long term, it's just a change of image, right? The application is the same, the image is and there might be certain things in the deployment itself. Is other than the image, is there any other configuration that we need to set, your?
No.
No, okay.
And
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe it would be possible to create another profile for the existing pet clinic application. I mean, that would be a bigger change, I guess, because we actually need to overwrite the Spring auto configuration, so the Spring Boot auto configuration for the OS2 starter,
Right.
because it usually, it takes effect the moment it's on the class path, so it's no good.
Okay.
Then we could, but then if we would do that, then we could reuse image actually, and would not need a new image.
All right. Um. So I mean, are you familiar with Helm?
Barely.
Okay. Okay. Um.
Always willing to learn.
This is a long term thing, I guess, but I'm not a fan of duplicating manifest YAML just because I'm changing one field or two fields, right? That's what Helm is for. It gives you that concept of unpackaging this thing and then parameterizing the things that I want to change in my application. And this sounds like one of those things, right? Like I'm using Keycloak now for authentication and binding, right? So I would suggest some along the lines of that as well. I agree with Baju not changing the default documentation. So, a lot of people might be using that off the bat to demo something, right? So, and that's my take on this.
so we'll see how we can publish that when we can do that part. Okay, to our.
Yeah, so it could be like a default. The default could continue being what we have, Baju. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
let we
then
can.
we package it differently for multi-feature, right?
Yeah, that's okay. We can
Mhm.
create another name for that image and publish it to our. We have a shared. I think
That's right.
Pavel having access, so we can talk to him, but he's not available today. So that we can help. And so I think from your part, you need to change this into a separate folder and update this PR. That should be fine, I guess. So we can keep it. This would be a good example.
You could
Right?
do Helm later if you want to.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. M could
So
be better.
you could duplicate things now, annotate, document the duplication, and say we can address this duplication with the Helm package.
Okay.
Uh, okay, good. Anybody else? Any other questions to ask or? Okay, I think fine then. Thanks, John, for this overview. So that's great. So it's more like a realistic, very real world application. So that's a very good sample for our project. It will be helpful. So I think let's move on to Jasper, the time change topic.
Yeah, this is just I realized that this actually conflicts with another call that happens weekly. So some folks who are typically on this call are not able to join. So just asking if there's any concerns about moving this meeting up 30 minutes to accommodate for those folks.
No objection from me. I'm fine with that.
Basically, have it flip with our current refinement call.
Yeah.
Yeah, no opposition from me.
Yep, I'm
No
good.
opposition from me.
Thank you.
Okay. Then. So, any other topic or anybody want to talk about, or else we can wind up. So today late, after a few hours, we have this pet call also. You're welcome. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thanks for joining the call. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.